We are live and welcome to a new video on the Geekanoids channel. This is a bit of a surprise both for you and also for me because I didn't know this was going to actually arrive in the studio before Christmas, but we have got a brand new smartphone to unbox and take a first look at. This is the Honor View 10. This promises to be a really good smartphone experience with a nice large screen, great cameras and a really keen price point. Honor produced some fantastic smartphones and this one caught my attention purely because of the expansive screen experience and the AI or artificial intelligence baked into the smartphone itself. Now we're going to unbox this and take a first look at what's inside the box. I have had a little sneak peek and I will need to put this on charge, and whilst it's charging and putting a little bit of juice in the battery, I will run through the main specifications. So it comes presented in this really nice box, almost a leatherette type finish to it. So a really nice colour, love it, a deep rich blue. And then we just got Honor View 10 on the front there. So let's open this up. So when you open this up, you're presented of course with the smartphone itself. So let's take this out. Wow, it is really very nice. The only thing I would say is when you look at the back panel here, of course we've got the dual cameras, we have got the antenna breaks and they're done in a very similar way to a previous generation smartphone. It just struck me as looking very similar from the back, apart from obviously the cameras looking different. We've got the Honor branding just here on the back. And of course the dual cameras, I think they're 20 megapixels and 16 megapixels if memory serves me right. We've also got a flash here as well, and then on the side we've got the main power button, which has got a nice pattern to it. Feels like a metal power button, and then we've got the volume rocker just here. On the opposing side we've got the SIM tray, which does also accept a micro SD card, and then across the bottom edge we've got speaker, we've also got USB-C, and we've got 3.5mm audio jack across the bottom, so USB-C and an audio jack. Also worth noting is that you can see the little tiny screws on the bottom and obviously the microphone. I just like that you can see those screws. I think it's really nice. I do like that. And then we've got another microphone up the top. On the front we have got a fingerprint sensor. We've also got the front facing camera, which I believe is 13 megapixels. I'll confirm all this once we get into taking a look at the specifications. We can actually open this up and slide to unlock, and it's a really nice screen. Just look at how gorgeous that screen is. They've done a fantastic job on it. Looks really nice. Now this is running Google Android version 8 straight out of the box, and it's running their EMUI version 8 as well, as far as I know. It looks really nice though. Very nice clarity to the screen. Wow. Very cool. Let me get a white screen up on Google Chrome. Off-axis viewing angles are really good as well. That looks nice. Very nice indeed. Now of course the screen goes nice and bright. Let's put the screen up to full brightness for you. That's what it looks like at full brightness. Far too glaring for me, but let's put it down to a sensible brightness and have a look at that. Looks very good indeed. That is a nice screen. So let's just pop that on charge just to give it a little bit extra juice. No wireless charging on this one. We've also got a little accessory pouch inside, and that contains a silicone cover. Love it when manufacturers do that. That's all that's in there. I would imagine you probably get some documentation on this if you're buying this at retail level. We've also got a SIM removal tool as well. And then in my particular box there are two compartments, and we've got a charger. I assume this is a fast charger. It's called a Supercharge from Huawei. It's Huawei branded, 2-pin USB on this end. If you're buying this in the UK, you'll probably get a 3-pin plug. This is a review model. And then we've also got a white USB-A to USB-C charging cable with purple highlights inside. Different. So that's all of the accessories I've got supplied inside my box. Now, before we take a closer look at the smartphone again, let's just pop all this back in. We'll take a look at the main specifications. We'll run through exactly what you'll be getting for your money. Must admit, I do like the box though. I know it's about the product inside, but when you get a nice presentation for a smartphone, it really is nice. Now, specification wise, we've got Android version 8 straight out of the box. We've also got EMUI version 8 as well. The colour, as you saw, is blue. It's got a Kirin 970 octa-core processor inside, a 3750 mAh battery, so that's 3750 mAh, which is really good. That's a nice beefy battery in there. The main camera on the rear is a dual camera setup, 16 megapixel and 20 megapixels, and then the front facing camera for selfies is 13 megapixels, so quite a high megapixel mount for the front camera. 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of ROM or storage for your applications and photos, etc. And you can further expand that with up to a 256 gigabyte micro SD card. So that would be, let me do the maths, that would be a total of 384 megabytes capacity, which is pretty impressive. It weighs in at 172 grams, 157 millimeters by 75 millimeters by just under 7 millimeters thick. That's really impressive. Fingerprint sensor, NFC, ambient light, compass, accelerometer, etc. USB-C, which we've already covered. A really nice looking smartphone. Now, I don't normally talk about pricing in these videos purely because pricing changes so quickly in the technology world, but the Honor View 10 128 gigabytes in blue actually comes in at, wow, that price, £449.99, so £450 in the UK, and that's for a SIM-free one as well. That's not tied to any contract, that's you purchasing the smartphone outright. I think that's very, very impressive indeed. So let's see what this looks like again now that we've got the battery topped up a little bit. So the home screen that I'm looking at now, very, very evenly lit, nice crisp colours to it as well. I wonder what resolution this screen is. I didn't remember, or I don't remember I should say, seeing the actual resolution of this screen. Unless I'm completely missing it. I would imagine it's a nice resolution. It certainly looks the part. So it's an 18:9 aspect ratio. Why do they make this so difficult to find out? I know it's only just come out of the box, but you should be shouting about this screen because this is a really good screen experience. We've got facial unlock on here as well, so face recognition for unlocking. AI, so artificial intelligence. We've also got network acceleration on here as well. Some really good specifications. f1.8 aperture on the cameras at the back. Still not finding the screen resolution on their specs. And this is really a raw unboxing for you. This is my first experience of this. So we've also got a 5 volt 4.5 amp Honor Supercharge. So on a single charge you get 5.5 hours of gaming, 19 hours of video playback, 160 hours of music playback, 21 hours of 4G browsing and 23 hours of 3G talk. That's pretty impressive indeed. It's a 5.99 inch display. It does look very, very nice indeed, but I want to tell you what the resolution is. Let's try and find this out. View 10 specs. Here we go. Resolution. Not readily available specs on the Honor website. So a tip for Honor is to put the resolution on your website, unless I was missing it. 2160 by 1080 resolution. That's a 403 ppi density on this as well. Really good. It's a metal body on the back, which is really nice. Obviously glass on the front. It's a dual SIM, so you can either use 2 SIM cards in it, or you can indeed use 1 SIM card. It's a nano size SIM, and then a micro SD card in the other slot. So you've got a choice of dual SIM or single SIM and a memory card. And that octa-core processor should keep this going at a really nice speed. It's capable of capturing full HD video and also 4K video up to 30 frames per second, which is really good. We've got geotagging, touch focus, face and smile detection, panorama and HDR as well in that camera. So really high specification phone for just under a smidge under £450. I think that is an impressive specification for the price. So let's just have a little feel around on this screen. I am actually seeing frame drops when I'm skipping from screen to screen. I'm seeing a little bit of stutter, which is a little bit disappointing because I'm not doing anything too taxing. That might just be due to do with the refresh rate on the screen, but it is nice and crisp. Let me give you a close-up look at this screen. Very, very crisp screen. Really nice. And just a smidgen under 6 inches at 5.99 inches. That is really nice. And even though it's got a large screen, very, very comfortable in the hand. Extremely comfortable. Very narrow bezels, top and bottom, and hardly any bezels on the left and right. Very slightly curved in the corners. The screen display is very slight curve to it, but hardly anything. And it's a really nice display. Good viewing angles as well, and no real noticeable colour shift when you're tilting at these acute viewing angles, which you're never going to look at your smartphone like this anyway. The fit and finish feels very, very good. It's got a screen protector pre-applied to the screen as well, one of those sort of thin film screen protectors, not a glass one, just a thin film one, and of course a case supplied inside the box. You're ready to go straight out of the box. I gave you a look at the screen a short while ago. This is sort of the apps that come pre-installed, so not too much pre-installed, but a few apps to get you up and running. No application tray on the EMUI overlay. It just looks like a really nice smartphone. That's really impressive. Let's do a quick test on the camera. I normally do this in my first look, so we're going to take a photo just under here, underneath my desk. That gives me a bit of a look at the sort of low light capability. We take one over here, and let's turn around this way, and we take one of the lion head. Why not? Let's take one of the lion head. Let's have a look at see how these photos look. So the first one just underneath my desk here, or underneath my screen, which is very low light. It's done a good job of noise control, but it's not a particularly detailed shot. The low light areas are not particularly detailed. When I took that photo with other smartphones, I was able to see all of the dust. I know it's a shame there is dust on there, but I was able to see the dust that's fallen on top of that audio interface. On this one I can't see that, so it's tended to take quite a dark picture but very low noise. Let's take a look at the second one. This is the picture of my pens over the back there. That's really nice. Nice amount of detail on that one. That's how that one looks. Very, very nice detail on here. Nice accurate colours as well. I'm impressed with that. So early impressions are a very impressive screen and really nice colour rendition on that photo. That is really very, very good indeed. Pleased with that. And then let's have a look at this lion mask that you will have seen. If you watch my videos regularly, you'll have seen me wearing that in one or possibly two videos now. Really good. That's picked up a lot of detail. Just look at that. Especially in the sort of the main area, the hair round here. Very, very nice. Good detail. Really good indeed. That is impressive. That is really nice. Now the actual buttons or the touch sensitive icons are actually on the screen. They're not off screen. So we can probably reconfigure those and possibly add a fourth button. And it's just overall really nice looking smartphone. Very, very impressive. Anyway, let's jump in to the live chat. If you're watching this after the live broadcast, then please do leave me some comments as well. I try and answer as many questions as I can. Big hello to Tom Kids 101, Ryan Darcy, Bingo Bongo, and Dean Jonathan Neal. The first 4 in the live chat always get a shout out. Thank you very much for tuning in. Ryan says Huawei are really churning out some amazing phones lately, and yes they are. I'm really impressed with this. Very, very impressed indeed. Also, Bingo Bongo would love to see what the AI performs like on the front-facing camera selfies. I will test that before I do my full review. We've also got Dean Jonathan Neal asking, is it worth getting over the new S9 next year though? Nobody knows, because 1, nobody knows the real specifications of the Galaxy S9 yet, and 2, it's likely to be probably near to double the price of this. So it's going to be one of those scenarios where you can buy 2 of these for the price of the Samsung Galaxy S9. So there you go. We don't know yet. Hi Dave, what are the specs of the cam? That's from Duke Vu Hong. The specs of the camera are 20 megapixels and 16 megapixels. Dual cameras on the back, so 20 and 16, and then 13 megapixels on the front facing selfie camera, so really high resolution. It does look like a very, very promising smartphone. Super thin. Let me show you that side profile. Just under 7mm thickness. And it's got some, you know when people say it's a nice light smartphone, or it weighs too much. This has got a nice medium weight to it, but it's the density that feels nice on this. When you get a quality product, there's almost another dimension to how it feels, and this feels really nice and dense in the hand, and really good build quality. Very good indeed. We've got sort of slight chamfered edges around the outside. Not too keen on how the glass meets the edge. I mean, there's no gap, but it just looks like it's inset very slightly. That might be the way the light's catching it. Love the power button, because that's got a little bit of texture to it, and I really like the fit and finish. Now, round the back, instead of it being a constant curve round the back, there is a little tiny sort of notch. It's like a curve and then a notch coming round, and that's reflected on the front as well. That makes it not so slippery. So for a very thin smartphone, you've got something extra to grip onto. That's a really nice touch. And then of course we've got the antenna bands top and bottom. And then, as I mentioned earlier, USB-C and 3.5mm audio jack on the bottom there. A really nice looking smartphone. Nice screen. 6GB of RAM, 128GB of storage for £449. That is absolutely amazing. Very, very good indeed. We've also got Darren Gator in the chat. Hello to you, Darren. Didn't get a notification you were live. Just saw on Twitter. That is happening a lot lately. People aren't getting notifications of the live broadcasts. There seems to be some YouTube gremlins in the works again. Dean Jonathan Neal says, compared to the OnePlus 5, what's better? Well, I haven't actually ever used the OnePlus 5. If you're referring to the OnePlus 5T, it's too early for me to make my judgment on this yet, because I've only just unboxed it. On paper, the OnePlus 5T specifications are probably slightly better in some areas and not quite so good in other areas, but they're fairly evenly matched specification wise. The OnePlus 5T, if that's what you're referring to, has got 8GB of RAM if you go for the 128GB storage model. If you go for the 64GB storage model, that comes in at the same price. So you're in fact getting more memory, or more storage I should say, not more memory, more storage on this one for the same price. So you're getting a little bit more possibly for your money on this, but is it better? I don't know. I normally rate the cameras after about a week of use, so in about a week's time, maybe in the new year, because we've got Christmas coming up, I'll be giving you my full review of this, and I can then tell you if it is as good as or better than the OnePlus 5T. That's all very subjective as well, because apart from testing the battery, performance, etc., how applications actually work, I also base my judgment a lot on camera performance, because that's one of the main things that I personally use my smartphone a lot for. So it will depend as well on how the cameras perform. Early indications on those first 3 photos that I took and showed you a little bit earlier in this video, it does look like a very, very nice camera performance, albeit it might not be quite as good in low light, but only time will tell, because I've only taken 3 photos, so it's far too early to judge at the moment. Ryan Darcy, YouTube is going downhill concerning recent updates. Yes, the notifications do seem to be broken again. Some of my very recent live broadcasts haven't hit your notification boxes, and thus views have suffered. But alas, I always tweet it out, so if you make sure you follow me on Twitter, then you'll always be notified when I start streaming live. So anyway, in a sort of a recap of this is the Honor View 10, 5.9 inch or 6 inch smartphone. Really nice screen, 6GB RAM, 128GB storage plus expandable storage as well. Really good camera specifications, and all for £449. SIM free, unlocked. I think that's a pretty good deal. I certainly will be testing this over the next week, so please do tune in for that. Do tune in again tomorrow. I've got another smartphone review for you tomorrow, and that will be live, probably between 8 and 10 AM GMT. I haven't decided the time of that one yet. Christmas is fast approaching, so I want to bid you all a really good Christmas. Have a fantastic time with your friends and family. So happy Christmas to all of you, and of course a really prosperous new year. Thank you for tuning in. Please do hit like on this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.